If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get alerts when we introduce new videos.
Welcome to this demonstration for the RUCKUS Analytics Cloud Service for Network Intelligence and Service Assurance. The videos in this series will describe the various views, services, and capabilities of the RUCKUS Analytics platform. In this video, I'll provide an overview of the RUCKUS data cubes in the Data Explorer and the fundamentals of navigating the Data Explorer user interface. So let's get started. Now before we jump into the demonstration, let's go through a quick review of the data cubes available in the RUCKUS Analytics Data Explorer. Data cubes are multidimensional objects that allow you to analyze the data collected from your RUCKUS network devices. There are access point data cubes that allow you to analyze alarms, collect inventory information, review key metrics, as well as radio-specific data. There are controller and network data cubes that allow for the analysis of the network controllers themselves, network events, network operations, as well as rogue APs and Wi-Fi calling. Then we have client data cubes that let you view data on wireless clients, their connection statistics, failures, and time to connect, as well as session information. We have an application data cube that allows the analysis of the applications in use in your network, as well as switching data cubes that leverage information collected from the managed ICX switches in your topology. So let's take a look at some of these data cubes in real time on the RUCKUS Analytics user interface. Here I am already logged into RUCKUS Analytics. You access the Data Explorer on the left side pane by clicking on the Data Explorer link. When you first access the Data Explorer, you'll see all of the data cubes here on the left side of the main part of the window. There are currently 19 data cubes available for you to use. On the right, you'll see all the dashboards that have been created. Dashboards will be covered in a separate presentation. Before we dive into the data cubes, let's look at a few more features of this page. At the top left, we have the Quick Access menu. This allows access to all the data cubes and dashboards, and often most useful, a link back to this home page from any other view. Within this menu, you also have a search bar allowing you to filter for specific data cubes or dashboards. I only have a couple dashboards defined now, but if you have a lot of them, using the search to filter on specific ones is very helpful. Back on the main page, there's another search bar up on the top right. This behaves in the same way, and matching items are displayed on the main page. Okay, so let's start looking at these data cubes. First, each data cube has a star. This is used to mark the data cube as a favorite. Data cubes marked as favorites will be displayed at the top of the page, making them easier to access. Next, notice what is displayed in each data cube selection. Each cube lists how many dimensions and measures are available in that data cube. I like to refer to the dimensions as the things you can look at, and measures as the numbers or data associated with each dimension. So for this AP inventory cube, you'll have 29 things and 3 data points available for each. So let's take a look at the data cube. All data cube screens are laid out in a similar fashion to this page. Up here at the top is the filter pane. Here's where you select the duration of time you are looking at by clicking on the box and selecting a time preference. And also you have the ability to filter on specific dimensions by clicking on the plus sign. For example, maybe only one controller name. Any filters you add are displayed here and can be removed by clicking the X. The Explore bar is populated by dimensions you choose to view, which brings us to the Dimensions pane. Here on the left, clicking on a dimension brings up a pop-up box. This box provides 4 actions you can perform with the dimension and a values field. The value is the number of instances of that dimension. So this means that I have 5 unique controller names in this data set I'm looking at. The 4 actions are filter, which places the dimensions up on the filter bar and requires me to select a filtering criteria. Show puts a dimension in the Explore bar and by default displays a table view of each instance of the dimension with the selected measure, which is currently AP count. Do note that selecting this option will replace anything already in the Explore bar with the selection. The Add option adds a dimension to the Explore bar, along with any dimensions that are already in it. This will create a hierarchical table of all the selected dimensions. The Pin option adds the dimension to a pinup section on the right-hand side of the page. With pins, you can keep selected dimensions up that are not impacted by the items you are exploring. And you're not limited to just one dimension to pin up. You can have multiple pinned up here. Also notice that within the Explorer bar, we can pivot the perspective of the data. Right now we're looking at controllers, then the zones within them. If I swap the dimensions, the table will repopulate with each zone and the names of the controllers that it runs on. Okay, so now we've populated the table with dimensions and added some to our pinup area. Let's talk about the data, or measure, over here on the right top portion of the page. The measure selected from this dropdown defines the data to display in both the table and the pinned up dimensions. As we noted when we selected this data cube, there are 3 measures to choose from. Right now we're viewing AP counts, but we can select another option here, and once selected, you see all the dimensions are updated. If you want to display multiple measures, select Multi-Measure and check the box for the additional measures you want to include. You'll see the table immediately gets updated, and each of these measures can be sorted by simply clicking on the header. Also available in the measure pane is the Compare option. This allows you to compare the current time period with another period of the same duration. There are predefined options you can select, and when you pass your mouse over them, the time period being compared will be displayed in the bottom. We're viewing a 7-day period, so selecting Previous Period will compare the current 7-day period to the 7-day period that preceded it. Selecting 4 weeks back will compare this 7-day period to the 7-day period 4 weeks ago, as you can see by the date shown here. You can also select a custom period, where you can define a relative period to compare to, or an absolute period, where you can define exact times and dates. Once the comparison is chosen, the table will display a new column with the delta between the current period and the one being compared. You can remove the comparisons by clicking on the X. Last thing to note on this screen are the view outputs available. By default, the output is a table. Clicking this icon above the table area allows you to select different output views. For example, we could view this output as a grid. Or if you really like colors and circles, you can select a sunburst, where from the inside out you can see the explored measures. Passing your mouse over areas in the sunburst displays pop-ups with the measure for that dimension. Now let's return to the home screen by clicking on the icon for the Quick Access menu and select Home. We just looked at the AP Inventory data cube, but RUCKUS Analytics offers 18 other data cubes as well. The cube you use will depend on what type of data you want to explore. So let's quickly jump into a couple of these data cubes to give you an example of what types of data might be available. Here's the AP Radio data cube. It has 20 dimensions and 19 measures. We could use this to determine which locations have the highest average airtime utilization, maybe over the last 7 days, and then we compare that to the previous 7 days, and then finally we can filter that further by adding APs by name. Okay, so let's look at another one. Back at the home screen, let's look at Impacted Clients, which has 17 dimensions and 2 measures. From here we can investigate things like which OS manufacturers are seeing failures and what the reason codes for those failures is, and we can look at that in gross client counts or unique client counts. And based on what we see, we may have to see that broken out by AP MAC, maybe to confirm whether this only occurs on one AP or not. In this case, it doesn't. Then we can compare that to the same period 1 week back. As you can see, there's literally millions of different views and perspectives available for your network data. From analysis to network planning to troubleshooting, with the RUCKUS Analytics Data Explorer, you have access to volumes and volumes of data and data analysis tools at your fingertips. This completes this presentation, providing an overview of the Data Explorer user interface and a quick review of the RUCKUS data cubes that are available. I hope you found this information useful, and I hope you return for more of the presentations in this RUCKUS Analytics series. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation.